what's up, Internet Peoples? Todd here, and welcome to another Marvel review. Today we're talking about WandaVision. But before we get into that, I think it would be right for me to address the elephant in the room.
Hey, I'm not that fat.
No, I wasn't talking to you, Jeffrey. Look, I know I've been away for a while. It's been like over a month since I've posted a video. So where have I been? Well, a lot has happened to me in the past few weeks that's really kept me from being able to make videos. I was working on a Mass Effect review. I was working on that for quite a while, but a lot of stuff happened to that, so I'm gonna have to scrap it and just start from scratch on that. But the biggest things that kept me from being able to make videos was, well, one, I got COVID a month ago. Now, I was actually pretty lucky and only had a very mild case of it, but everyone else in my family was like really sick, so when I wasn't working, from home because, I couldn't go to the office, I was helping take care of my family and make sure they had everything they needed. So I really didn't have time to work on the video because of that. And then right after we recovered, and we're all fine now, we're all healthy, so that's good. But after we all recovered from that, our dog recently had puppies as well, and we had to get the house ready because we knew she was having puppies. But we had to get her nest ready and everything like that, which took us about a week as well. So that took a lot. I also want to take a minute to thank all of my new subscribers, because even though I wasn't posting for a month or so, we got up to 90 subscribers, which is more subscribers than I've ever had on any YouTube channel I've tried to create. So I really want to say thank you guys so much. I want to provide more content for you guys. I don't want your subscriptions to go to waste. So I promise you I'm going to be releasing more videos. I'm going to try and make it weekly. If not, you can at least expect every other week there'll be a new video out. And I will have some shout outs to some of my new subscribers at the end of the video, so please stick around for that as well. But anyways, business is all taken care of. Got the elephant taken care of. Let's talk about WandaVision, because I really want to talk about that. So when I was reacting to some of the trailers for this show, I expected that it was going to be really weird, but really interesting and cool. And yeah, it went way beyond that. It was so much better than what I thought it was going to be. Yes, it was still very weird, but it was more than just fun. It was an awesome show. Also, there are going to be some heavy spoilers for the whole series going forward, so if you have not watched WandaVision and you want to go into it blind, which you really should, because there are so many twists and turns, and you're going to want to be surprised by it. So if you haven't finished the series or you haven't started it yet, go watch it and then come back to this video, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. So just, this is your warning. This is your spoiler warning. From now on, there are going to be spoilers. Okay? Let's do that. This also isn't going to necessarily be a breakdown of every single episode. I'm just going to talk about the things I loved about it, things I didn't like, and just go over my basic thoughts on the entire series as a whole. See, I don't expect a sequential play-by-play of the entire series. I'm just kind of going off the top of my head and thinking, okay, what did I love about the series and what did I not? So let's get into that. I really thought the beginning of this series was pretty interesting. Starting off with just sitcom-like episodes with Wanda and Vision together was an interesting way of starting it. For some people I know it was kind of slow, my parents tried to watch it and they were like, why are we just watching sitcoms? This is so weird. But I was like, guys, there's a bigger story coming ahead. Just sit through it and you'll enjoy it. And thankfully I was not wrong. But I think it also helps set the tone for the series, because there's a bit of weirdness to the idea of Wanda and Vision starring in a 50s, 60s style comedy sitcom. What's going on? Why are the Avengers in a sitcom? Vision's supposed to be dead. Why is he still around? All those questions get answered later, but I think it does a really good job of setting up the tone of the series and getting your mind questioning things, especially with the little tidbits throughout the episodes, like Wanda hearing things on the radio of people asking her what's going on and who's doing this to her, or she finds a sword drone that's all red even though everything else in the world is black and white. And then all the commercials that take place in between all the episodes of some weird connection to Tony Stark or Hydra or other things in her life. And it's okay, something is definitely going on here. And that becomes way more evident in episode 4, when Monica Rambeau gets kicked out of the Hex and just all the sword agents come in and we get to see what's going on behind the scenes. And we realize that Wanda has created this false reality with her reality warping powers because she's been so consumed by her grief of losing Vision, Quicksilver, and her family, just everything. And she's created this false world, her own little paradise, to try and cope with her trauma, and has somehow brought Vision back to life. And then the rest of the series from that point is Sword trying to figure out how to save the people that are trapped in this reality she's created, and Wanda dealing with the moral consequences of what she's done. And this show has you questioning everything that happens. It's like they know everyone's going to be theorizing and talking about the series like every week. So it feels like Marvel actually, they actually did. They threw in random things throughout the series to throw you off. I'm pretty sure everyone figured out that Agnes was Agatha Harkness pretty early on throughout the series. And that was supposed to be like their big reveal of the series, so they had to find some other ways to throw you off and have you guessing about other things. One of the biggest troll moves I think Marvel has ever done, though, in this entire show, probably in Marvel ever, to be honest, and it still got me a little pissed off, was what they did with Quicksilver. Look, Marvel knew exactly what they were doing when they cast Evan Peterson in this series and had him play some sort of version of Quicksilver. Because Evan Peterson plays Quicksilver on the Fox X-Men universe. And they know that everyone knows that Disney bought Fox and now has the rights to use all the X-Men characters. And fans have been speculating for a long time, how are they going to incorporate the X-Men into this universe? So when they suddenly have Evan Peterson show up in the series playing Pietro, it's like, oh, so they're doing the multiverse and they're bringing Quicksilver in from the X-Men universe to replace the MCU version. No. Turns out his name is Ralph Bohner. This whole setup, bringing in Evan Peters, casting him as a fake Quicksilver, was all some big old setup for a boner joke. Why do you do this to me, Marvel? Yeah, I was pretty disappointed with that. And then they have like Monica Rambeau talking about some aerospace engineer that she knows, and they never call him by name, and they keep referencing him saying, oh yeah, the aerospace engineer I know is going to help us build this thing. Oh yeah, I'm having a meeting with my aerospace engineer friend. And we're like, Reed Richards, possibly? And they never show him. They never reveal who that is. It's just left in the air. I need answers, Marvel! Yeah, so those are definitely moments I didn't like. I didn't like having these things teased and having no resolution to them. But this show also had some amazing moments, so it kind of balances things out. I actually ended up loving this series by the end. I think getting to explore Wanda's powers in such a drastic way was very interesting. This show proves that Wanda is definitely one of the most powerful superheroes in all of Marvel Comics, or in the MCU in general. But Wanda's definitely way more powerful in this series than she's ever been. And they definitely teased that in like Endgame when she almost took out Thanos. And they even referenced that in the series. Like they're like, well, I mean, Wanda's like the only person who came close to killing Thanos. Well, except for Thor or Doctor Strange. But Captain Marvel definitely didn't. They even tried to argue that, well, Captain Marvel came pretty close. No, she didn't. She got kicked off the map by Thanos with like one little punch with the Infinity Stone. Like just... Also, I loved how the show handled Vision as well. As it turns out, this isn't the original Vision. She didn't steal Vision's body and bring him back to life. She just manifested him out of the deep emotional sadness within her. And he's just this new creation, struggling to figure out what's going on. He's just as confused as all of us are in watching the show. And having him try to be the voice of reason to Wanda, saying, like, Wanda, you need to let these people go. It was just really cool to see. I thought it was really compelling to have, like, the person she loves most and she doesn't want to lose, trying to tell her, look, you need to let these people go. You need to do the right thing here. Also, I loved seeing Monica Rambeau in this series. And I'll be honest, I kind of hope, after this series, she becomes the new Captain Marvel. Because in the comics, she was one of the first Captain Marvels. Like, after the original Captain Marvel, Captain Marvel of the Kree, she took over the mantle of Captain Marvel and was like part of the Avengers, even led the Avengers for a few years. And she's really powerful, and she's also just a great character in general. And like, I like Carol Danvers in the comics, but in the movies, she's so boring. I almost feel like Monica is more deserving of the title of Captain Marvel than Carol is at this point. That's just my opinion, You call me a hater if you want, I don't care. And then of course I loved how she ended up getting her powers in this series as well, just going back and forth through Wanda's reality warping field, just being hit with that cosmic radiation and chaos energy, just mutated her cells and gave her the ability to manipulate the electromagnetic spectrum. So I loved seeing Monica Rambeau in this series. And Jimmy Woo, I love seeing Jimmy Woo. Like, I loved him in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I was just glad to see him show up here. I'm glad to get some cool action scenes and some great spy moments in this show. Also, he finally learned the card trick. Like, wow, I didn't know I was rooting for that, but I'm so happy you learned it, finally. Also, I love the characterization of Wanda in this series. When Agatha Harkness takes her through, the past to see, like, all of the trauma she's dealt with, it was really compelling to see, like, how Wanda became the person she is through the death of her parents, through the death of Pietro, through her love of Vision. and joining the Avengers. The show really took the time to really delve deep into who Wanda is in a way that we really haven't gotten to see before in the rest of the movies. So I was really happy to see that in this series. And of course, there's just so many great moments as a longtime superhero fan and Marvel fan that I just love seeing. Like, we got to see the White Vision. For those who don't know, in the comics, that was like when Vision had been defeated and torn apart, and they put him back together, and he like lost a lot of his memories. Kind of like what happens in the show. And for a while, he just had like this all white body with like a white cape and like a white suit and all that. So it was just really cool to see that in the series. And I especially love that Wanda's Vision ended up helping the White Vision get his memories back, because that was the original Vision body. So like physically, that is the original Vision, and now he's got the memories back from when he was Vision before he died. And we can see like his eyes transform back into how he was when he was Vision. So basically, Vision is back. Vision is alive. The Vision that we've seen throughout the MCU. So we're probably going to see a lot more of him in the future, and that makes me really excited. I wonder if he's going to keep like the all-white design. I don't know, that would be interesting. Another thing I loved, seeing a comic book accurate style Scarlet Witch costume. Her getting like the red tiara, like at the end of the series when she finally becomes the Scarlet Witch. Like, that was so awesome. Like, the design for her costume is just so awesome, and it looks pretty comic book accurate. And I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, all it needs is a cape. And then at the end of the series, boom, she got a cape. And I was like, oh yeah, awesome. It's weird how, like, as comic book fans, we can get super excited over just costume designs. Like, as an artist and someone who likes designing costumes for characters and stuff, I really appreciate stuff like that. And Agatha Harkness was an interesting villain, though to be totally honest, I find it kind of weird that she's the bad guy. Okay, I'm not like the biggest like Agatha Harkness fan. Like, I'm not super familiar with her story, but from what I do know of her, she's not really a bad guy. I mean, she was allies with the Fantastic Four. She worked as their nanny to take care of Franklin Richards for years. She mentored and trained Scarlet Witch on how to control her powers better. Like, in the comics, she's not the bad guy. The worst thing she ever did was make Scarlet Witch forget about the death of her kids so she didn't go insane. So it was a little weird seeing her be like the bad guy of this series, but that was her creative choice, and she was a good bad guy, so I'm not going to be upset about it. Plus, we got that really cool Agatha All Along song that everyone's just memed the crap out of. So yeah, I can't complain. But anyway, I think this show did a really good job of telling Wanda and Vision's story, helping tell that story of tragedy, and helping us understand who Wanda is better. They did a great job of setting up future events. We know Scarlet Witch is going to be in Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness. So it'll be interesting to see how the events of this show end up setting up for that. I also just realized I've gone through this whole show without talking about her kids. Yeah, seeing Billy and Tommy show up was pretty interesting, though I'll be honest, they don't really do much in this entire series. They just sit there and go, "Mom! What's going on, Mom? Mom! Dad's in trouble! Mom!" And like they die at the end of the series, you know, when the hex is broken, but then we hear Billy's voice at the end in the end credits scene. So like maybe their spirits somehow got like trapped in like the chaos world or something. I don't know. This show was so weird. I don't even try to understand it at all. Well, anyways, those are pretty much my general thoughts of the whole series. It was weird. It was very creative, and it was a lot of fun, and it was just a good show overall. But if you haven't watched it, well, I guess I already spoiled the whole show for you, but I'd still recommend you watch it. Alright, what did you guys think of WandaVision? Let me know in the comments down below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know. Okay, but before we get going, I want to thank some of my new subscribers and give you guys a few shout-outs. Alright, so a big thank you to Frankie McClaney, By the Still Waters, Guido Garden, I hope I pronounced your name right there. I apologize if I didn't. Jacroy Suber, I also hope I pronounced your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. But hey, if you want to get a shout-out and you want me to butcher your name, then let me know in the comments down below that you subscribe, and actually subscribe, and then comment in the comments down below and tell me that you subscribed. But thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, have a good one.